CV endpoints. Is there a reason to use specific flozyn in specific patient? Would an age or type of cardiovascular risks, complications, potentially history of MI or stroke or other drive such decision? And I think, Ralph, that you have already answered this question in your lectures. There is no reason to differentiate between the drugs. I think that the overall body of evidence, particularly taking into account that the population studies in the CVOT trials were so different, there is no any reason to claim that they are different, and we believe that there is a class effect.
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
A short answer.
Okay. This is me who agree with you. Let's keep this in the right proportions. Is class effect the main driver for overall flozyn efficacy and safety, or you do see particular differences which you may influence the choice behind specific flozyn instead of any flozyn? And again, I think that this is already covered.
It's already answered.
Okay, this is perfect, particularly that we are saving time. Recently, we almost exclusively discussed outcomes of cardio and renal protective trials for flozyns. Less attention is focused on hypoglycemic effect or effect to body mass and blood pressure. Can flozyns be ranked in this respect? And essentially, you also have a slide or two in your lecture. This is a good reminder that we should still keep in mind that this entire class of drugs is very effective in terms of lowering blood glucose, in terms of lowering body mass index, and also in addition it lowers blood pressure. I don't think that there is a solid evidence that we can differentiate the particles in terms of those characteristics. We also need to keep in mind that all the trials from phase 3 were published in a little bit different populations with different HbA1c, different age, different weight. But as you showed in your lecture, if you look at direct numbers, canagliflozyna 300 milligrams was proven to be really effective with very solid impact on HbA1c level.
This is easy. I agree 200%.
Okay. Great. So there is a real agreement. And I think this question goes to Professor Czuprina.
Yeah.
Okay, should I start insulin or rather use maximum doses of oral anti-diabetic agents?
Oh, so this one we haven't addressed. I never would go to insulin therapy before I maxed out on the agents that I believe. So, as I said, I'm always starting a patient, so at least 2 or 3 agents right from the beginning. I have 4 good drugs, okay? I have, probably here you'll go for metformin. Metformin's number 4 on my list, by the way. I would say it's really a close tie between, this will be somewhat surprising, pioglitazone and GLP-1, and very close behind SGLT-2 inhibitors. So until I've really tried those 3 of those 4, I would not go to insulin therapy. Moreover, if you're going to go to insulin therapy ahead of GLP-1, this makes no sense to me. They're both injectables. They're both expensive. And one causes hypoglycemia, the other causes no hypoglycemia. One causes weight gain, the other causes weight loss. One, well, I'll be kind and say insulin doesn't promote atherosclerosis, okay? Although I think at high doses that's controversial. GLP-1 stops you from dying, okay? Insulin makes you retain sodium. GLP-1 are natriuretic. So no matter how you look at it, there's no reason, in my opinion, for going to insulin before a GLP-1 receptor agonist. I don't know, you would probably have a different.
Well, there is one difference. Insulin is cheap in this country.
Okay.
it's going more and more expensive in US.
Yes.
But it's basically, well, human or rapid-acting analogs are basically free. So that's a major difference.
Location. Another question, combined regimen of insulin plus SGLT-2 inhibitor, how much would said approach decrease the insulin intake? What goal to set when choosing such combination in terms of insulin levels?
So let's say we have a patient who's on insulin therapy, okay, and the patient was inadequately controlled. To me, the first thing is to find out why is the person inadequately controlled on the insulin. Do I need more basal insulin? Do I need more mealtime insulin? So I would put the person on continuous glucose monitoring for a week to define what do I need to do to adjust the insulin dose. Now let's say that after adjusting the insulin dose, I don't have the person adequately controlled. Then there are 4 choices, and they're all good choices. You can add a GLP-1 receptor agonist. You can add an SGLT-2 inhibitor. You can add pioglitazone, or you can add low dose, either pioglitazone, low dose, or metformin. Those are all good choices. Which you use probably is whichever one you're more familiar with. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other, but I think the first thing is to make sure you maximize the insulin dose.